Good morning. We're reading I'm reading chapter 6. Chakra 6, a light. We're going to start with the opening meditation. Okay, opening meditation. I actually want to get a pillow to put behind my back. Let's see. Better. Opening meditation. Chakra 6, light. It is dark, eyes closed. We lie as if asleep, dreamless, ignorant of all around us. Floating in a sea of emptiness, we are cradled in darkness, unseeing, unknowing, at peace. We breathe slowly, in and out. In and out. Stretching and relaxing our bodies as we settle into the warm, peaceful darkness inside. We are home. We are safe. We are deep within ourselves, feeling, hearing, being, but not yet seeing. Become this darkness, all-knowing yet unknowing, empty and free. Let the dark wash over you, soothe you, as you empty your mind into the infinity of the void, the womb of darkness, the birthplace of our dreams to come. Somewhere in the darkness, we hear a sound, a distant note, a voice, a scuffle of movement. We feel the flutter of a breeze upon our face. We feel the warmth upon our shoulders. Feel the pull to rise and to flow and to follow, but we know not where. Our bodies cannot see and dare not move. They are dark and still. They call to us for direction, wisdom, guidance. They call to intelligence. They call to memory. They call for clarification of the pattern. They call to light. And afraid to leave the darkness and safety of our ignorance, we hear this call. We hear this call, and our own mind, hungry for answers, quests outward. We long to see, to know, to behold at once the wonders that surround us, to fill our minds with recognition, the certain steps of knowing, the safety and peace that light, too, can bring. We open our mind, we open our eyes, we look about. Imagine images pour forth in a myriad kaleidoscope forms, tumbling inward pattern upon pattern, endlessly interweaving. Colors, shapes, and forms reflecting space around us, reflecting back into us, recording life in patterns that our minds can clearly see. The mind opens and receives, but there is too much and the light is blinding. We call the dark to shade us, to temper, to bind the patterns into meaning. And the dark comes softly, hand in hand, and shadow to the light, defining, shading, intertwining, ordering. The light comes more gently now, rainbow colors, healing, soothing, illuminating, coming at will, active yellow, healing green, soothing blue, potent violet. All that is alive glows with light. Shape and essence is form revealed for us to see and know. What do we wish to see? What do we call forth to our inner vision? What does the light bring? Beauty of 1,000 suns. Beauty of a single moon. Patterns of life we're leading, all the truth we are perceiving. Gently now on wings of light, our petals flutter through the night, reaching out to worlds beyond, events forthcoming, days long gone. Holographic matrix net escapes the boundaries by time set. All the truth can be contained by patterns in a mind retained. Red and yellow, green and blue, interlace in varied hue. Shape and form, in sight revealed, nothing can remain concealed. From inner vision, reaching out, seeing truth, removing doubt. Inside we open, watch and wait, while wisdom's visions spin our fate. Illumination shows the way, our inner light turns night to day. And though the dark shall yet return, we fear it not, for we have learned the way the dark and light combine, letting patterns be defined. Dark to light and night to day, within our minds we light the way. That's the opening meditation, and I'm going to read the chapter about color. Color, like features, follow the changes of the emotions. Pablo Picasso. Color is color is the form through which we perceive light. Vivid in experience, rich in depth, color is the very fabric of our seeing. Color is produced by different frequencies in the wavelengths of light. The hotter colors, such as reds, oranges, and yellows, are of a lower frequency than the cooler colors, green, blue, and violet, and therefore the photons have less energy. Hot and cool are our own subjective assessments and say little about the actual energy of the light. Light is produced by the excitation and de-excitation of electrons within the atom. Electrons lose or gain energy by leaping, in quotations, from one energy level to another. Each leap is called a quantum jump. A discrete step and amount of energy, much like the steps on a stairway. When an electron jumps to a higher level, it must be absorbed a certain amount of energy. When it falls back again toward the nucleus, that energy is released as a photon of light. An electron falling through 2 levels releases more energy than an electron falling through only 1 level. Therefore, the photon emits light at higher frequency, giving us the blues and violets of the upper chakra. Color carries very definite psychological effects. Red, which psychologically stimulates the heart and nervous system, is also associated with aggressive and initiatory energies, anger, blood, beginnings of things. Blue, by contrast, are associated with peace and tranquility and have exactly that effect on most people. Even wavelengths beyond the visible spectrum have an effect on our health and state of mind. Fluorescent lights, for example, which do not contain the invisible ultraviolet rays, have been shown to have a negative influence on health, both in plants and animals. By contrast, full sunlight containing the complete spectrum have in some instances helped heal arthritis, cancer, and other diseases. If we consider that a large percentage of our information comes to us in visual form, and that visual form, hi puppies, good morning. What are we doing, fat boy? Would you leave your mom alone, please? Okay, just calm down. Calm down. Okay, relax. Relax. Relax, please. Okay, I'm reading. Can you lay down? Put your head on my lap. Relax. Fat boy's only 9 months. Well, see, he was born on February 29th. He's a leap year puppy. You're a leap year puppy, aren't you? And he'll be 1 on March 1st. And Sierra, the other puppy that came through, is the mommy. They have a story, don't we all? Okay, calm down. Calm. Okay. Let's see. We were talking about blue and fluorescent lights and sunlight. Yes. If we consider that a large percentage of our information comes to us in visual form, and that visual information is perceived as patterns of color, the subtle changes in frequency exhibited by light must have an enormous effect on our minds and bodies. If sound waves affect the physical arrangement of subtle energy, it would follow that color, being such a high octave of material manifestation, could influence matter in much the same way. For this reason, color has been used in healing with remarkable success. And actually, I did grief therapy after my son was tragically killed by the California hospital system. I did some grief therapy, and the therapist who worked with me used color quite a bit. Let's see here. Recent studies have shown some colors of light can be 500% more effective in stimulating certain bodily enzymes. This art was known by healers in the early part of the century, before such things were scoffed upon the medical profession. As witnessed by the following quote from a practicing physician versed in the art of color therapy. For about 6 years, I have given close attention to the action of colors in restoring the body functions, and I am perfectly honest in saying that after nearly 37 years of active hospital and private practice in medicine and surgery, I can produce quicker and more accurate results with colors than with any or all other methods combined, and with less strain on the patient. In many cases, the functions have been restored after the classical remedies have failed. Sprains, bruises, and traumata of all sorts respond to color as to no other treatment. aseptic conditions yield regardless of specific organism. Cardiac lesions, asthma, hay fever, pneumonia, inflammatory conditions of the eyes, corneal ulcers, glaucoma, and cataracts are revealed by the treatment. Relieved by the treatment. Various theories on the healing effects of color have been written and documented in the last century or so. Using methods such as bathing a person in sunlight, passing through a stained glass of a particular color, or drinking water that collected sunlight in a colored glass, has had remarkable healing effects in many cases. Treatments of blue light, for instance, have been known to provide permanent relief in cases of sciatica and inflammation. In one case, the patient had unrelenting symptoms for 11 years and was relieved within a week of color treatment with no relapse. In other cases, yellow light has been used to bring mental clarity, red to combat physical exhaustion, and golden orange to help diabetics. If diseases begin at the subtle level, should they not be treated at a subtle level as well, using such things as color, especially in conjunction with positive visualization? The colors of the chakras follow a logical progression through the spectrum, correlating the lower frequencies of light, which is red, to the lowest chakra, matching the rest of the chakras to the spectrum accordingly. This seems to be both the most sensible and the most universal system of coordination to the chakras, but it is by no means the only system and should not be confused with the colors that the chakras appear to be when viewed clairvoyantly, or the colors described in tantric texts. Some clairvoyance studies, however, such as those conducted by Valerie Hunt, completely corroborate the rainbow system, as witnessed by the following quote: "Chakras frequently carried the colors stated in the metaphysical literature, i.e. Kundalini, red; hypogastric, orange; spleen, yellow; heart, green; throat, blue; third eye, violet; crown, white. Activity in certain chakras seemed to trigger increased activity in another. The heart chakra was consistently the most active. In addition, Jacob Lieberman, PhD, found in his research that when people were unreceptive to a particular color, it correlated nearly 100% of the time to stress, disease, or injury in the part of the body related to the chakra of that color. According to the rainbow spectrum, the colors for the chakras, according to modern systems, are as follows. Chakra 1, red. That's our root chakra. Chakra 2, orange. That's our sacral chakra. Chakra 3, yellow, solar plexus. Chakra 4, green, heart. Chakra 5, blue, throat. Chakra 6, indigo, third eye. Chakra 7, violet, which is Christ consciousness. Various tantric texts describe the chakras differently, saying the first chakra is yellow, the second is white, the third is red, the fourth smoky, the fifth blue, the sixth gold, and the seventh lustrous, beyond color. Perhaps as we evolve, our chakras vibrations are changing frequency, and the colors are now becoming more aligned to the pure colors of the spectrum. When viewing chakras clairvoyantly, it is equally unlikely that one would see a set of chakras exactly reflecting the above rainbow description. For these are optimum colors occurring in chakras that are fully developed and clear. In Valerie Hunt's study, subjects were observed throughout weeks of intense Rolfing therapy. The clearer colors occurred only towards the end of therapy. From my own experience, it is far more common to see many colors in each chakra, twisting in and out of the chakra and forming patterns and images that relate to that person's life. You can also use the associated colors as meditational or or mnemonic devices to gain access to your chakras or to find out more about them. First, we can take a small reading of our own chakras through examination of the colors we tend to surround ourselves with, as in our clothing or home decor. Do you always pick the purples and blues, or do you consistently go for the vibrant reds and oranges? Are you fond of dark or light colors? Is it merely coincidence that some monks who practice celibacy wear saffron, pale orange, robes, a color related to the second chakra? Secondly, we can choose colors that complement the chakras we feel are the weakest. For a long time, I was aware of an absence of yellow in my auric field, which was also confirmed by many friends and psychics who looked at me. Simultaneously, I had metabolic problems and many issues related to the third chakra, such as low energy and feelings of powerlessness. I found that wearing a yellow gemstone, topaz, I like citrine, and yellow clothing helped my attitude considerably, to the point where other people remarked about an improvement on a subtle level, and this brought balance into my personal energy system. So I've taken the stone citrine and put it into my water bottle before to help with my solar plexus. Colors can sorry. Colors can also be used in visualization for self-healing. In the above case, especially on darker days, I would sit and visualize my aura as a bright yellow, or alternatively, visualize golden rays of energy coming to me from the sun. When I projected outward from myself, gradually became manifest around me. What I projected outward from myself gradually became manifest around me. That's such an important sentence. When Celine Vega and I teach our chakra workshops, we encourage students to wear colored clothing to match the chakra we are studying each day. In this way, we immerse ourselves in the vibrational spectrum of that particular chakra. Colors, like the sounds associated with each chakra, are another form of expression of the 7 planes associated with this system. Okay, we're going to read the holographic theory. Let me see how long this chapter is. Yeah. The holographic theory. In the heaven of Indra, there is said to be a network of pearls so arranged that if you look at one, you see all the others reflected in it. In the same way, each object in the world is not merely itself, but involves every other object, and in fact is every other object. Hindu Sutra. How do light and visual process connect to what we experience in perception? Why do so many mystics claim to see patterns of light when they meditate, eyes closed? Why do we dream images seem so real? And what constitutes memory? The most plausible theory put forth to answer these questions comes from a neuroscientist named Carl Pribram and is based on a model of the mind as a hologram. A hologram is a three-dimensional image formed by two intersecting laser beams. This is analogous to dropping two pebbles into a pond at different locations and quickly freezing the water. The intersections of ripples would be permanently recorded onto the ice, just as the interference of the light beams are recorded onto the holographic plate. In the creation of a hologram, a beam of light produced by a laser is reflected from an object and recorded on a light-sensitive plate. The plate also receives another beam of the same frequency called the reference beam, which goes directly from the source to the plate. Looking at the plate itself, we would see only a meaningless pattern of dark and light swirls. This is the coded information of the intersection of the two beams, much as the grooves on a record are the coded representation of a soundtrack. When the plate is later reenacted by a reference beam that contains the same frequency as the original laser, the image of the holographed object eerily jumps out at you in 3 dimensions. You can move to the side of a hologram and see the side of the object as if it were really there. Yes, since it is only light, you can pass your hand right through it. There are many remarkable things about holograms. The first is that the information is stored omnipresently on the plate. In other words, if the plate were to break into pieces, any piece of the plate would be capable of reproducing the whole picture, though with increasingly less detail as the pieces diminish in size. The second remarkable thing about holograms is that they are non-spatial. Many holograms can be superimposed upon one another in one space on one plate by using lasers of different frequencies. Carl Pribram's theory states that the brain itself functions like a hologram through constant interpretation of interference patterns between brain waves. This is fundamentally different from previous brain models, where each bit of information is stored in a particular place. This theory has shaken the foundation of physics and physiology, creating a paradigm shift in the studies of consciousness. Its ramifications are far-reaching in the understanding of the mind as well as the world around us. This model seems particularly relevant to the understanding of the Ajna chakra. Let's look at how this theory developed. Pribram's first began by doing brain research on rats and monkeys in 1946. Working with Carl Lashley, he dissected numerous brains, looking for the mysterious basic unit of memory, called the engram. Thinking, as many did at the time, that memories were stored in various nerve cells in the brain, they expected that certain memories would be wiped out by removing brain tissue. Not so. Instead, they found that memories seemed to be stored omnipresently throughout the brain, much as the plate stores holographic information. When tissue was removed, memories became fuzzier, but didn't disappear. They explained why memories survived massive brain damage, why the brain can store an entire lifetime of memory, and why memories were often triggered by certain associations or reference beams. When we view an object, light is transformed into neural frequency patterns in the brain. The brain is filled with some 13 billion neurons. The number of possible connections between these neurons numbers is in the trillions. Where scientists have previously looked at the neurons themselves as significant to brain activity, they are now looking at the junction between the neurons. While the actual cells exhibit a kind of off-on reflex action, the junction at the nerve endings exhibit wave-like qualities when viewed as a whole. In Prebrom's own words, if you look at a whole series of these nerve endings together, they constitute a wave front. One comes this way, another that way, and they interact. And all of a sudden, you've got your interference pattern. As impulses travel through the brain, the wave-like qualities create what we experience as perception and memory. These perceptions are stored as encoded wavefront frequencies in the brain and can be activated by appropriate stimulus, triggering the original wave forms. This could explain why a familiar face brings up recognition, even though that face may look different from the last time you saw it. It may explain why mention of roses brings to mind a particular smell, and why snakes may generate fear even when there is no particular threat. Our perception of the world around us seems to be a reconstruction of a neural hologram within the brain. This applies to language, thought, and all the senses. As well as to the perception of visual information. In the words of Prebrom, mind isn't located in a place. What we have is a holographic-like machinery that turns our images, which we perceive as existing, somewhere outside the machinery. Because this model hints at each of our brains containing access to all information, even that of other time dimensions, it can explain many things beyond the normal functions of memory and perception, such as remote viewing, clairvoyance, mystic visions, and pre-recognition. Contemporary to Prebrom's holographic brain theory, theoretical physicist David Bohm has described a model which suggests that the universe itself may be a kind of hologram. His term for this holoflux, as hologram is static and not fitting for a universe so filled with movement and change. According to Bohm, the universe is enfolded or spread as a whole throughout a kind of cosmic medium, much as we would enfold egg whites into cake batter. The enfoldment allows for an infinite number of interference capabilities, giving us the forms and energies that we experience with our holographic minds. In this context, then, the brain itself is a part of a larger hologram and would therefore contain information about the whole. Just as we perceive the world in a holographic fashion, so may the world itself be a larger hologram in which we are just small pieces. But as pieces, we each reflect the whole. I love that. If this is true, if there is an inner and outer world, both of which mirror the entire creation in any of its parts, then we, as parts, contain the information of the whole, as does everything around us. Not only does a grain of sand describe the universe in which it occurs, but each of our minds also contains the encoded information of a greater intelligence, just waiting for the right reference beam to trigger the image. Perhaps this is why gurus can trigger Shaktipat and sympathetic vibrations can trigger altered state of consciousness. If both inner and outer worlds appear to function holographically, then the question must be asked, is there any difference between them? Are we ourselves also holograms? As we slowly dissolve our self-created ego boundaries and embrace more universal states of being, are we merging our consciousness with a greater hologram? If each piece of the hologram contains information about the whole, though less clearly, is that why we gain clarity each time a new piece of information fits into the puzzle? As we grow and expand our understanding, do we not see things more and more as one interpenetrating web of energies, one picture? At this time, these questions have no definitive answers. Few could argue that what is considered external does influence our perceptions, thoughts, and memories becoming internal. Few could argue that there is a structure inside of us which encompasses energies above and beyond the external world. Doesn't this internal structure in turn influence the external world? Can the construction of our mental holograms be projected outward to take form on the material planes? Karl Pribram seems to think so, and in a most down-to-earth fashion. Not only do we construct our perception of the world, but we also go out and construct those perceptions in the world. We make tables and bicycles and musical instruments because we can think of them. It is this principle that best illustrates the abilities of Ajna chakra to perceive and to command, and the psychic reception and projection of imagery through the outside world. And tomorrow I'm going to read about seeing. It's Friday, so I'm going to read a chapter out of The Fifth Secret Thing this evening. And I'll see whoever watches my videos tomorrow morning, or maybe this evening.